locally produced farm radio show with agricultural news, information, interviews, in-depth weather, and more. It's Terry Henne and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester. The wind didn't blow us away over the weekend, so we're right back at it come Monday morning with, for the most part, everything a lot closer to where it should be this time of the year when it comes to the weather. And we'll talk about those temperatures in just a moment. Very mild start to the weekend. Then obviously things deteriorated as we went through the day yesterday and finished off on the chilly side of things, still breezy later on yesterday afternoon and last night. In between, some much needed rain kicked off right after midnight on Friday night. Some of us picking up a little bit better than a half inch, and in some cases 3/4 of an inch of rain precipitation as we went through the weekend. Much needed. We could stand a little bit more, and I think we probably will get a little bit more. We're going to have to wait a couple of days for it. But in the meantime, temperatures, as I said, hovering around the freezing mark after an overnight low, dropping down into the mid to upper 20s for a lot of our readings here in the central part of the state. Much more spring-like weather throughout quite a bit of the continental United States. More than 60 tornadoes reported over the weekend, again, where you would expect them to be in the south central parts of the continental United States, along the Gulf Coast and into the Tennessee Valley. That's where we saw the bulk of them. And again, it is that time of the year. We're going to be hearing a lot more about severe weather, not only for the most part today or tomorrow, but as we move into the middle part of the week, we're anticipating another system to move into the continental United States. This system will be in the central part of the country as we move into Wednesday, and more severe weather is going to be in the forecast for those folks and as close as Wisconsin to us. But right now, Matthew, what do we have temperature-wise?
Currently, over at the airport, it's sunny at 31. Over in Midland, it's sunny at 32. Here, Radio Center, it's sunny also at 32. We have southeast winds at 6 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 30.21, and it's steady.
We're looking at some warmer temperatures in the southwest corner of the lower peninsula, and obviously the further north you get, the temperatures continue to cool down. Not real cold from where we are, but still a little bit cooler. In the upper peninsula, we're looking at some temperatures that are warmer than we are, especially in the central and the western sides of the UP. Ironwood, of all places, about 4 degrees warmer than what we are currently reading. Copper Harbor, the same thing. Iron Mountain's at 33, Houghton's at 32. We're looking at 35 degrees in Escanaba, and Menominee is coming in at 35 as well. By the time we finish the day, we're going to need the sun to get there, and we will. We're looking at a little bit more of a southerly breeze as we go into the afternoon, and that's going to help us warm those temperatures up. As Matthew said, we're looking at southeast and easterly breezes. It's going to come more out of the south and pick up right around 20 miles per hour later on this afternoon. That's going to raise our temperatures, so we'll be looking at 46 for a high this afternoon. And we'll only drop down to about 38 for a low with a few clouds tonight with a south wind that will be picking up, gusting 25 miles per hour late tonight and early tomorrow morning. During the day tomorrow, warmer still. We're going to be looking at a temperature approaching 60 degrees. We might get it. We're going to be looking at partly cloudy skies and then sunshine with that south breeze. And it is going to be gusting up to about 20 miles per hour out of the southwest tomorrow, then changing a little bit coming out of the southeast later in the afternoon and the evening. There's a reason why, because there is going to be a low pressure system building, as we said, in the central part of the continental United States. And along with that counterclockwise circulation is going to come a little bit more of a southeasterly breeze as we go through the day tomorrow and into tomorrow night. What's interesting for tomorrow is we'll peak out at right around 59, I think, but we'll only drop down to 51 for a low tomorrow night. We will see an increase in the clouds, but still very little, if any, chance of precipitation. We're going to call it partly cloudy skies to start, mostly sunny skies during the day tomorrow, and then a few more clouds later, but still it is not going to be totally overcast because on Wednesday we'll be warmer still. We'll get up to 67 for a high with partly cloudy skies. Clouds will be moving in late on Wednesday, and then rain after midnight on Wednesday night and into the day on Thursday. That storm is going to be building. It'll be building over Kansas during the day on Wednesday. Severe weather is going to be in the forecast for the central part of the continental United States, where we are 67 for a high on Wednesday. There will be a lot of 70s and possibly low 80s on the east side of that low pressure system as it begins to churn and really begin to wind up. We're looking for that system to move into Wisconsin as we approach Wednesday night and in the early morning hours on Thursday. The chances of precipitation will increase as we go through the day, late Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. After a high of 67 on Wednesday, we'll drop down to 38 for a low on Wednesday night. And moving into Thursday, we'll start off with clouds, a chance of some rain, but that low will move very rapidly into Quebec province on Thursday. So Thursday afternoon will become partly cloudy and sunny, but our temperatures are not going to warm up all that much because that low will be to the northeast of us. It is going to push a cold front down through the state. That front will move through on Wednesday night. After a low temperature on Wednesday night of 38, our high temperature is going to be that 38, and it'll be achieved early in the day on Thursday. We'll drop down to the upper 20s with clear skies on Thursday night. Then during the day on Friday, partly cloudy skies, 52 for a high, 38 for a low. Saturday, we'll see some clouds and some showers, especially in the morning hours, becoming partly cloudy as we go through the day. 47 for a high on Saturday, 29 for a low on Saturday night with partly cloudy skies. Sunday promises to be mostly cloudy, maybe glimpses of sun there. We'll be looking at a temperature hovering around 46, 47 degrees. What's average for this time of the year is 42 in the afternoon and 26 at night. So as you can tell, we're still going to be running above normal today, obviously tomorrow and Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we'll actually be a little bit below normal with our temperatures, but then we'll start to build for Friday and move through the weekend. Temperatures, normal, maybe a little bit below normal to take us from the upcoming weekend through the end of the month. Precipitation values will be slightly above to above average for that time of the year. Again, we're looking at the last 10 days of the month of March. Sun will set this evening at 7:45, rise tomorrow morning at 7:43. The equinox that occurs on Thursday, so the first full day of spring will be on Friday. So keep that in mind. Temperatures obviously will be warming up for that period of time. The coldest ever St. Patrick's Day was set in 2012. 80 was our high, 46 was our low. The coldest ever St. Patrick's Day, 1941, 12 was our high, and 4 was our low. And many of you, I'm sure, remember the snowiest ever St. Patrick's Day. It was one of very few St. Patrick's where the St. Patrick's Day parade in Bay City was canceled. That year was 1973, and we had 21.3 inches of snow on St. Patrick's Day that year. Matthew, can you believe shoveling snow on St. Patrick's Day?
I mean, hey, we almost had to today, didn't we?
I hope not. Incidentally, the month of March, for all intents and purposes, you'll see more record-breaking snowfalls in the month of March that were more than a foot of snow than any other month of the year, which is kind of unusual, but that's the way it works. Matter of fact, March the 1st, back in 2016, we had just under 11 inches of snow. March the 4th in 1985, we had a foot. March the 17th, and again, we talked about that. That was 1973, 21.3 inches. The 20th of March in 1989, we had 10 inches. The 23rd of March, 1968, we had 11 inches. And the 25th of March in 1947, we had just under 13 inches of snow. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, who do we have?
Up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
Well, before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Nutrient Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrient Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrientagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound-up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrient Ag Solutions crop consultant today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at CMR Tractors in Millington. Stop in today and see Bob and see his line of Coyote tractors with financing rates at 0.99% up to 72 months. That's CMR Tractors in Millington. This is the only Coyote you want to see crossing your field. Market report brought to you by the folks at Coffee with Corn, Michigan Corn Growers Association. They've got one coming up here, 20th of March. They're going to be talking about mycotoxin management and corn disease research. An update from Dr. Marty Chilvers from Michigan State University. Again, Coffee with Corn, a feature of the Michigan Corn Growers Association, this coming Thursday beginning at 7:30, and you do have to pre-register to attend the event virtually. Coffee with Corn, a presentation of the corn growers. Go to micorn.org to register. We say good morning to Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. And Gary, don't know if the traders are feeling green or not. What's going on today?
Well, let's just say there's more green than red today, so we'll take it.
All right. Well, they probably got caught up on everything because of the Green River there in Chicago.
It could very well be. Maybe that's what they did. They took a little dip and they brought some back to the office with them. So
there you go. I don't know if I'd want to drink it or not.
We got we had a nice positive start this morning, especially in the wheat arena, Terry, and the corn's up a little bit, and soybeans are trying to figure out what side of the fence they want to be on, the red side or the green side. But currently, we have cash wheat is up 17 cents, Terry, at $5.54 on the white, $4.88 on the red. New crop also up 17 at $5.40 on the white, $5.05 on the red. Cash corn, let's call it up 4 at $3.93. New crop also up 4, Terry, at $3.90. Cash soybeans, let's call it down a penny at $9.30, and new crop, actually it's up 2 now, Terry, so that's at $9.40. So
yeah, I agree with you. I've seen it all over the board so far this morning, the soybeans. Any particular factors that are weighing, or are they looking that far ahead to that planting intentions report?
Well, there's a little bit of strength related to weather here this morning, Terry, so not only is it too dry in Eastern Europe, Ukraine, and parts of China, southern Russia, but the forecast ahead shows a warmer, drier pattern for the plains with little to no rain forecasted all the way to the end of the month. So it's that time of year where weather kind of takes a forefront, I guess, not only in our backyards, but across the country and across the globe as, wheat comes out of dormancy and it needs some moisture. And it sounds like it's going to be a little dry in some of those areas. So that's kind of got the wheat cooked up. And then corn, you got a little bit of positive. You got a little drier ahead for Brazil and Argentina, but in export demand still remains well ahead of the USDA forecast. So right now, U.S. is the cheapest corn in the world, so that them export numbers continue to be pretty strong. So, but the only thing on the back burner that always is going to weigh on the market till we get to April 2nd is tariff talk. So that's kind of on the back of the traders' mind. So maybe we're capping some rallies based on that information. So, but we'll see. So
it's been a little while since we've seen export business as good as what we're seeing right now. And again, you're saying basically it looks like the American dollar. It's a lot more reasonable right now to buy from us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know that was kind of a highlight last week. The dollar was getting pretty weak there, and we had quite a low come into play, and that creates more export possibilities for sure. So,
and the price of eggs is coming down.
There you go. All is good in the land. So
yes, it is. Gary, you take care. Have a good day. Okay.
All right. You too, Terry.
All righty. Gary Coffin over at Star of the West. A little bit more in depth as far as what the markets are doing. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining me right now. The market report brought to you by Thumb Bank, working with agriculture since 1895. They understand the challenges that's going on with farming today, and Thumb Bank keeps up with those changes as well as industry trends and changes in your operations. So now is the time to talk to them. They're located in Freeland, 13 locations in the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay region. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. And by Schaefer and Beerline, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Frankenmuth. It is Ram Truck Months, which means that if you're in the market for a new Ram commercial truck or van, and you want to buy with confidence from a business-linked dealer that knows what customer satisfaction truly is, it's the time right now. See Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth, where family and service sells cars. Morning, Doug.
Well, good morning.
Well, we were talking about the green water in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It looks as though it's helping the markets a little bit today.
Well, Wall Street's okay. The Dow especially is okay. The S&P's up 0.2. NASDAQ's down 0.1. So year to date, all three markets are underwater. Not horribly, just correction area, not bear market area. We'll see what the rest of the week brings. I think maybe this is just carryover from Friday. We'll see. Forever 21, that's a retail store, is done. They're closing all their stores out. So there's weakness in retail. That was announced this morning. So you got to keep an eye on that one. What else? Their Ferrari says that 40% of their new buyers are under 40 years old. So that leaves us both out. So just saying. We might have to go to the used car lot for something if we're going to do that sort of stuff, I guess. What else? Deutsche Bank says the correction has 6% yet to go on the stock market. So we'll have to pay attention to what goes on there. And the Japanese market is okay. The Chinese market is okay. The emerging markets are okay. They're all up for the year and hitting highs for the year. So that's where the money's going. Here's your prices. The May corn is $4.62.5, up 4 cents. September corn $4.49, up 4.5. The May soybeans $10.14.5, down a penny and a half. September soybeans $10.13.5, up 3/4. The May wheat is $5.74 3/4, up 17 3/4. And September wheat $6.07.5, up also 17 3/4. The crude oil pretty steady, 67.38, up 47 cents. Heating oil $2.15.43, up 2 cents. Gasoline $2.17 3/4, up 2.5 cents. Natural gas is $4.11, down 6 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.4292 Canadian. That's down by 77 ticks. The dollar buys 148.53 yen, down 9 ticks. The euro's at 109.24, again getting expensive, up 45 ticks. The euro or the dollar is getting cheaper, 103.30, down 41 ticks. Gold's holding up, but not a new high, $3,003.20, up $2.10. Silver's 34.02, down 24 cents. Platinum's $1,024.50, up $11.50, and copper's at $493.70, up 4.1 cents.
You take care. Have a great day.
Thank you. Yep, you too.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. They're ready to help when it comes time to getting in that field. Vic Huffer over at Freeland Bean and Grain has got advice for you. Whatever questions you might have, he can help. And they've got a great selection of products, too, to get that crop growing this spring. Freeland Bean and Grain, serving you since 1983. We're serving you is their business. Let's find out what's going on as far as the sugar industry goes these days as the processing begins to wind down here with that last year's crop. The market report brought to you by Foster Blue Water Oil and Blue Flame Propane. Talk to Rob Stoutenberg now with the Michigan Sugar. And Rob, how we doing?
We're looking pretty good, Terry. This week is going to be a big week for the factories. The end of the campaign should be ending in the next few days, with the first one being Bay City. We're anticipating finishing up all the beets in Bay City roughly around today, if everything goes well.
Oh, that's fantastic. Certainly a lot better this year than it was last year.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm glad that we actually had a Michigan winter this year. Those colder temps really helped us out.
Now, as far as getting ready for the new year, anything in particular that producers should be aware of right now?
I would say making sure they have their plans in place. And when I say plans, it's herbicide plans and fungicide plans, because last year Cercospora and some other diseases really came in strong and kind of caught some guys off guard. So having a plan in place and a spray plan, what I'm talking about, in place to ensure whatever the world throws at us, we're ready for it.
Yeah, and at this stage of the game, you never know what the world is going to throw at us.
Yep, that's correct. But I'd rather have a plan in place and be ready for it when it does come. And
the nice thing about it is you guys are available to answer questions.
Oh, yep. All the time. We're out meeting with growers every single day, trying to make sure everybody has a solid plan in place. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any single one of us.
All right. Rob, take care. We'll talk to you again next week. All right?
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Terry.
Rob Stoutenberg with Michigan Sugar Company. Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville, joining us. Jerry, what should we be looking at right now?
Boy, Terry, we had a wonderful weekend. I got out in the yard, got some pruning done in my yard, 70 degrees in March. It was beautiful. And that's what we tell people. We've been talking about all along. When the weather gets nice and you can get out there, now is the time. But Terry, driving around, have you noticed the maple trees blooming?
I noticed that. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, a little. It's early, but they're out there. So over the winter, we met a beekeeper, a very knowledgeable guy, and one of the best things you do for bees is plant maple trees. The pollen that they get out of maple flowers is probably the best thing for them. Everybody thinks about dandelions, and he said dandelions are fine, but he said they need that maple pollen more than anything because they're in their hive and they're shaking and flapping their wings all when and wrong to keep up heat, and it's that early pollen is so important to them. And maple trees provide that. And so when people say, what do you mean maple trees flower? Well, if they wouldn't flower, they wouldn't have those fruits and those helicopters later in the season.
Hey, there you go.
Maple trees do flower. They're out there. Look for them, and then look to see bees lighting on them and warming up after the winter.
Jerry, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. You take care. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, all right?
You betcha.
Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Eric Sawatsky joining us right now with Yo and Yo. And Eric, understand we, first of all, have got a deadline to talk about.
Yeah, it's that time again, Terry. We're at March 15th, March 17th, actually, this year. We get a couple extra days because of the weekend. But all S corporations and partnership returns, if you have either of those types of entities for your business, those returns are due today. If you don't have those ready to go and are filing by today, highly recommend getting an extension of time to file. If an extension isn't filed today, then the penalties are actually pretty severe. It's $220 per partner per month until the return is filed. So not something you really want to have to do. Better to get those extensions filed today if you haven't done that already.
And what about some legislation?
Yeah, Terry, just a quick update. The last few years, Congress has talked a lot about research and development expenses. There was a bill a few years ago that forced companies that do any kind of research to capitalize those expenses. And basically, you have to write those expenses off over several years rather than taking them all in the year you paid for it. And that's what the case used to be. And that's been proposed in Congress several different times. It's resurfaced again with the current Congress, but the way it's sounding, it's probably going to be a change that will happen in 2025. So for any businesses that are waiting to kind of see if anything would be retroactive for 2024, it probably will not be. We're probably looking at the rules we've had the last few years, which is definitely not in favor of those businesses. So just kind of a quick update there. We're probably looking at the change in 2025.
Very good. Good information. Eric, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again, okay?
Sounds great, Terry.
We'll be right back.
Do you own farm property or hunting property in eastern Michigan and the Thumb that you're looking to put on the market? Michael Turner with Whitetail Properties is an experienced land specialist that can guide landowners through the successful selling process. With Michael's knowledge of land values in rural markets and access to the most superior tools and technology in the industry, he can get you the best price possible for your property. Visit whitetailproperties.com and search Michael Turner under agents. That's whitetailproperties.com.
We'll be back at 12:30 with an update, so you stick around for that. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coin in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Peter King. Many questions, few answers about some 250 alleged Venezuelan gang members who were deported over the weekend, despite a court order prohibiting it. CBS News political reporter Aaron Navarro.
Some of the questions we still have for the White House going into today. How did they designate these as gang members? Some reporting has shown that potential tattoos on these migrants is one sign. But again, this is all based off the White House's words. Still some questions questions left.
The White House invoked a deportation law that's only supposed to be used during wars. This is cleanup day in areas of 7 states decimated by heavy storms over the weekend. Some 40 deaths are blamed on the weather that ripped through Tornado Alley. CBS's Nicole Valdez is near Birmingham, Alabama.
Sipsey, Alabama is just northwest of Birmingham. Some of the mobile homes are unrecognizable. Now we're sitting here trying to make out what's left. I mean, you've got a washing machine right here with clothes still inside it. That gives you a bit of an idea that maybe the people who were here either left in a hurry or were still maybe caught by surprise when what looks like a twister came barreling through this community.
And that system has moved east. Here's meteorologist Craig Allen.
Rain will be heavy at times along the eastern seaboard right on up into most of New York State as well as New England. There is a flood watch in effect for areas north of I-90 in New York State.
It's been several weeks since President Trump fired board members of the Kennedy Kennedy Center in Washington and replaced them with his own appointees, naming himself as chairman. Today he holds his first meeting there. CBS's Weijia Jiang.
He has made clear that he has a new vision for the Kennedy Center, which is, world renowned for its arts and performing arts here.
Several performers have pulled out of bookings there since Trump took over. Retail sales are up, but much less than expected. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says that's more evidence of this.
2 reports on sentiment showed that consumers are not feeling so great. The University of Michigan Sentiment Index fell to the lowest level since November of 2022. And the Conference Board's February Consumer Confidence Survey showed that consumers expect inflation to rise over the next 5 years. In fact, those 5-year expectations surged to a 30-year high.
And on this St. Patrick's Day, Savannah, Georgia is hosting what is widely believed to be the country's second biggest parade, although city officials there claim it is the largest. Wall Street, the Dow is up 172. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 35 degrees at 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Mike Percha. The Michigan Attorney General's office has charged a Saginaw City Council member accused of falsifying signatures on an election nominating petition. The petition was for Eric Eggleston, who was going to run for Saginaw City Council. On July 23rd, his petition was denied by the city clerk's office for not having enough signatures. He returned to the office shortly before the 4 p.m. deadline with the form filled, though the clerk's office staff noticed discrepancies with some of the signatures. A review of surveillance footage outside City Hall allegedly shows Councilwoman Monique Lamar Sylvia filling out the form herself. An investigation by the Michigan Secretary of State's office was launched and forwarded to the Attorney General's office. Charges for Lamar Sylvia include conspiracy, election law forgery, signing multiple names on a nominating petition, and signing a nominating petition with a name other than her own. Eggleston is also charged with conspiracy, election law forgery, and signing a nominating petition as a circulator when he is not a circulator. A pretrial date is pending. An alligator was discovered in a northern Michigan motel. Sheboygan police said staff found the gator on Friday while cleaning a room at the Pine River Motel after the occupant had checked out. Further investigation revealed the owner brought the gator named Wally to Sheboygan along with other exotic animals to conduct an assembly for elementary school children. Police called the owner, who rushed back to get the gator, and were reunited last night. Heads up, if you plan to travel up north soon, here's Lance Howard with a report.
Contractors for the Mackinac Bridge Authority plan to repave portions of the bridge's north approach beginning March 24th. From the 24th through April 26th, the southbound side of the bridge will close with one lane open in each direction in the northbound lanes. From